Hi, my name is Nick Raposo. I'm the director of the Center for American Marine Art, and I'm here at the 41st Schaefer International Marine Art Exhibition at the Sailing Museum in Newport, Rhode Island. Today, we're going to be learning about the work of Lisa Egeli, an American master.
Lisa Egeli was born in 1966 to painter Peter Egeli and Elizabeth Stu Wilkinson. Growing up in Maryland in a family of artists, she learned many skills from her father, a prominent portrait painter. Lisa's grandfather, Bjorn Egeli, initiated this family tradition, painting a U.S. president, generals, and Supreme Court justices. She grew up sailing on Chesapeake Bay, first on a skiff her father built, then on a cutter he built, then dinghy racing, eventually building her own boat. She remains a dedicated sailor. Lisa lives with her wife, Jacqueline Savitz, by the shores of the Chesapeake Bay most of the year. Fine Art Connoisseur magazine has featured Lisa as one of today's masters, and she has been included in a number of books and magazine articles. Lisa is a fellow and past president of the American Society of Marine Artists, a signature member of the Society of Animal Artists, and a member of the century-old Salmagundi Club of New York City. Her work is informed by colleague Christopher Blossom, and she cites Spanish painter Joaquin Sorolla, Frederick Edwin Church, Rosa Bonheur, George Inness, E. Charlton Fortune, and Dennis Miller Bunker as influences. Lisa's land and seascapes portray the uniqueness of a place in a moment of time, capturing the light and its seemingly magical effects on the scene. Her work is inspired by her love of nature and a belief in the need to highlight the vulnerability of our natural world. Her paintings have been featured in numerous exhibits and are held in many permanent collections. Her work in the Schaefer International is called A Moment of Clarity. While the title refers to the rarest of moments seen from the Canadian side of Niagara Falls when the mist isn't obscuring simply everything, it is also a metaphor for Lisa's portrayal of nature in general. The natural world is in motion: clouds, wind, water. Lisa chooses to capture these when furious action is inextricably connected to stasis and calm. We know the clouds above the falls are in motion, we know the river water is hurtling toward the edge, and we know the mist is soon to obscure the beauty of the waning sun. And yet, in that moment of clarity, everything comes into focus, peacefully, almost placidly, as the thunderous crash of water continues just below us out of frame. It is pure magic. Lisa often explores this juxtaposition of stillness and action in her work. In her painting Good Things Come, she captures that fleeting moment when the threat of heavy cloud cover is just abating, pelicans glide by in a wave of wing beats, and surf crashes onto the wet beach. It is an amazing play between stillness and action that creates a synthesis of joy and beauty. A Story of Tides finds another moment just post-tempest, when a low-lying sun refracts through the still airborne mist, creating a ghost of a rainbow. The vastness of a tidal plain lies drying as white egrets search for mollusks. Again, the effect of stillness and action is arresting. We know what has just happened, and yet we are safe. Being a dedicated student of light, her Chesapeake vestige may refer to the nascent rainbow or to the last vestiges of sunlight creating it, creating cool shadows cast by the foreground trees. Cormorants and Transitions is a stormier work altogether, with a background cloudburst and cormorants working furiously. But still, we can see a place where the only other motion is a double-masted schooner placidly sailing in the distance. Her small work, Eagle and Flag, is animated by an invisible actor, the wind, whipping the American flag out straight while allowing a bald eagle to coast on its thermal. We see a much more active water surface, and the vigorous diagonal brushwork of the trees counterbalances the just as vigorous plain blue sky. It is a marvelous work. One of her larger works, Revisiting, captures a mist-filled branch of Potomac River, just as the morning sun is about to banish the chill so evident in the piece. It is a potent moment, one that crystallizes that ethereal scene that we wish could last forever. Silk and Wool tells another seasonal story. You can hear twigs snapping as the sun begins to play on the ice-caked branches of the pine trees, while the cold overmantle of clouds are either settling in or giving way to morning. The seeming stillness of the water and sky is illusory. This is a scene in transition. In medium-sized work, The Long Walk captures a marsh at dusk, the sun barely picking out the tiny lighthouse and breakers on the outer bank. This is not a simple painting. The skill required to render these values in correct relation to each other is astonishing. Looking out at the view is something that you might have done 1,000 times, but it takes your breath away. Together may not look like a surf painting, but it is. Instead of focusing on the surfer, however, Egeli took in the massive quality of the whole scene to show a person in play with nature. The storm that drove the cloud system in the background has created the surf, and the deep tidal flat will keep the collection of birds unworried about the surfer. Again, there is a vast amount of action in a superficially placid scene. Un chemin par la mer, at a yard wide, shows the path to the sea created by the long tides found in Europe. Sailboats lie on their sides on the tidal flat. Egeli's ability to capture marsh grasses and the mountainous coastline in the distance, all in the muted tones of France's diffident gray skies, is unsurpassed. In one of her liveliest works, kiteboarders enjoy a raucous sea with the sun breaking through a lessening cloud cover. Like large colorful birds, the arcs of the kites catch the light, the largest casting a cool shadow on the water below. Crafting directional movement through the use of cloud shadow and wave action, Egeli expertly directs the eye to the amount of fun they and we are having. Lisa Egeli's work captures nature at its most majestic, solemn, and magnificent. A tempest has just passed. The rumble of the falls is distant below the mist. The sun is just setting, and we are there for one transcendent moment, captured forever.